It is good to be back, folks. We have got a lot to cover today, so we're going to go through this pretty quickly. I want to welcome everybody to the Thursday afternoon meeting of the Rotary Club of Tyler. I missed saying that so much last week. And if you don't mind, folks, please go ahead and turn off your cell phones. You can check mine, as a matter of fact. Let's go ahead and get things started. Let's bring up Larry Wickham for the Pledge of Allegiance to the National Anthem. Yes. That's what it says right here.
I'm supposed to be the prayer, but I'll do whatever I need to do.
Well, you can do it all.
No, that's David Nichols got the prayer.
All right, good. Then we're in business.
Okay.
Let's pledge the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, sing and you see by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Larry. David? Remain standing, we'll have prayer. God, we thank you for our time together today, for our food and our friendships, our visiting with one another. We pause now for a moment to pray for those in Ukraine and Russia. The suffering, God, we know it's terrible. It shows you how man can be so mean to one another. God, we thank you for opportunities we have in Rotary to bring peace and not war. And may we continue to think that way so that we will be good citizens of our country, which we're so fortunate to be members of. And be with us during our meeting today, we pray in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Oh yeah, I got more to do. Sit down.
Got three special guests I'd like to introduce.
All right, DM, tell us who they are.
Let me ask all three of them to stand. Dr. James Schamberger from UT Tyler, past president Gerald Sinclair, and past president John Minton. Let's welcome all three of them.
Back there at that back table, anybody? Henry looks like a bishop, but he's not. He's wrong. Okay, yeah, go ahead, George.
Casey Scott. He works with Henry. He's told me he sells hotel. That's what I do. So I'm glad to have Casey here today.
Thank you. Glad you came, Casey. All right, back here at the back, middle. Just shake your heads. Come on around the corner where Bill Clyde is. He's asleep. Any guests over here you want to introduce?
I'd like to introduce my son Stratton to the club and YT to the club.
All right. Yes. Go for it.
Okay. This is Catherine Kugel, correct? Okay. And she's with Home Care Network. She is a former member, years ago, she said, from Athens, and she's interested in joining our club. So,
Good. I don't know. Glad you came today. Hope you joined us. Anybody else? Yes, go ahead.
So I have Ken Freeman with me today. He's an agent in our office, and bring him out.
Glad to have all our visitors here. Did we miss any Rotarian guests? No, our visitors.
Okay, thank you, David. One thing before she scoots out of here, she already left. Don't thank our pianist, but I won't now, all right? Our greeters for the day, let me thank Pam Walters and Sandy Wells. Thank you, ladies. Stand up and be recognized. There we go. And next, it's time for this weekend. What?
I didn't recognize Ryan. And isn't Ryan too still a guest?
No, she's a member now.
I thought they turned in my application.
What, yay!
Ryan, have you completed the hazing process yet?
No, I just didn't.
Oh, okay. Glad to know. Just got that out of the way. And is Paul Glasser here yet? Hey, come on up, Paul. Let's do this week in history.
Hey, Bill.
How you doing, Paul?
Good. Okay, what did you do with there's my script. On the 17th of March in 1762, I know some of you folks were there, 1,301 years to the day after his death, Irish soldiers serving the British military garrisoned in New York City staged the first parade in honor of St. Patrick. Patrick converted thousands of previously pagan 5th century Irish to Catholicism and made the three-leaf clover the symbol of Ireland by likening it to the Holy Trinity. On the 18th of March in 1937, this is a story close to home, the Consolidated Elementary School in New London was destroyed following a natural gas explosion. 300 were killed and many were very badly injured. The explosion occasioned the opening of Mother Frances Hospital in Tyler 1 day earlier than planned in order to meet the need. And it resulted in that smell that you hear when natural gas leaks. That was it's called mercaptan. It's put in there because natural gas by itself has no odor. So that is artificially put in there so you'll know that gas is leaking. On the 19th of March, 2003, 90 minutes after the deadline that a UN resolution had placed upon Iraqi President Saddam Hussein to leave Iraq, Operation Iraqi Freedom began with a Tomahawk cruise missile attack on military targets in Baghdad. On the 20th of March, 1854, meeting in Ripon, Wisconsin, former members of the Whig Party met to form a new political party in opposition to slavery. The meeting would go on to be recognized as the founding of the Republican Party. On the 21st of March, 1980, CBS aired the season finale episode of the TV drama series Dallas. In the episode, principal character J.R. Ewing, played by Larry Hagman, was shot. Who shot J.R.? Immediately entered the lexicon, created a huge audience for the next season premiere when it was revealed that J.R.'s mistress, who was also his wife's sister, she is the one who pulled the trigger, and you wonder why J.R., how he survived it all. And by the way, that set the predicate for the big cliffhanger. That was the first big season finale cliffhanger, which now is very common practice. On the 22nd of March, 1765, sowing the seeds for eventual rebellion, the British Parliament passed the Stamp Act, which imposed a tax on all printed matter in the American colonies. The act cost more to enforce than it raised and was repealed a year later, but the damage was done, and the resentment over its passage formed the nucleus for the cause that would lead to the American Revolutionary War. And finally, on the 23rd of March in 1839, in abbreviated slang that deliberately misspelled words the way kids do today in text messages, in an article the Boston Morning Post published the term OK for all correct, O-L-L correct. For reasons that are still not understood, the abbreviation took hold, never let go, and it is used in virtually every country in the world. OK means okay. Birthdays in the coming week, if I can turn the page. Today, Kurt Russell, actor, turned 73. Also today, speaking of the TV series Dallas, Patrick Duffy turns 67 today. Bruce Willis turns 67 on Saturday. Actress Glenn Close turns 75, also on Saturday. And Captain Kirk, William Shatner, turns 91 on Tuesday, and that's this week in history.
Thank you, Paul. Okay, Rotary Business. We've got the convention coming to Houston, June 4th through 8th. Have you registered? Need your volunteer hours, send those to Holly. Program for next week will be Charlotte and May from St. Paul's Children's Services. And now I'm going to bring up David Jones. Oh, well, he wants to finish his coffee.
No, I just have one brief announcement right here.
Okay, go ahead.
Camp B Air Fest is going to be on July 1st, Friday. And so there's some preparatory work on Thursday the 30th. The event's on Friday afternoon. And there'll be some cleanup on Saturday, so some great hours, service hours. I'll have more info later.
Yeah, hope we don't get drowned out by the monsoon like we did last year. Well, that was fun. Okay, let's go ahead and bring up the world's greatest president-elect, Allison Cameron, to introduce our speaker for today.
Thank you. I will be mercifully brief. We have as our presenter today, Dr. D.M. Edwards, a longtime member and twice previously president of this club. Thank you, Dr. Allison. Before we begin today's program, I'd like to thank three people that have a big part in putting the presentation together. Dr. James Newsom from UT Tyler. He's one of the favorite professors in the entire UT system. He's done a lot of the organization of putting this together today. And then we really appreciate from the Hicks companies, Kathy Adams, who has set up all the equipment for the presentation. I also want to thank Francis Hall from my office, who helped get everything organized and ready for today's presentation. It's been interesting to look at the past presidents of our club over the years since it began in May of 1920. Today we're going to cover the third group of 25 presidents, which will begin in the year 1970. And let's take a look here at the screen. Henry Marsh Bell Jr., who married Dorothy Nell Allen Bell. He was a graduate at Tyler High School in 1944, graduated from the Citadel in Charleston, South Carolina, from Yale University, and he also received an honorary doctoral degree from Texas College here in Tyler. Henry was the senior chairman of the board of the Citizens First National Bank downtown, which is now Regents Bank. He was active at Christ Episcopal Church as a senior warden, a board member of the Episcopal Diocese in Texas. Henry was chairman of the board of the East Texas Medical Center Regional Healthcare System, chairman of the board of the ETMC Foundation, board member of the UT Tyler Development Board, and board member for the UT Health Science Center, active in the Salvation Army, Junior Achievement, the Texas Chess Foundation, a member of the Development Board at Tyler, Texas College. Henry was president of the Tyler Area Chamber of Commerce and chairman of the board of the Tyler Industrial Foundation, also president of the Texas Rose Festival Association and president of the United Way, chairman of the board of the American Red Cross and president of the East Texas State Fair in Tyler. He was active in the Better Business Bureau and a member of the Tyler Petroleum Club, Willowbrook Country Club. One of his important statewide roles, Henry was the chairman of the Teachers Retirement System of Texas, member of the Henry Bell Masonic Lodge, named for his dad, a member of the Sharon Sykes Shrine Temple and the Scottish Rite. In 1990, he received the People of Vision Award, the T.B. Butler Award in 1971, and in 1961, he was honored as the Outstanding Young Man of Tyler with the W.C. Windsor Award. He passed away in August of '99 and is buried in the Oakwood Cemetery in Tyler. The 52nd president was Dr. John Cooper Turner, and he married Laura Colonel Rogers Turner. He received his BS degree from the University of Alabama, his MD from Tulane University, and served a medical internship at Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Washington, D.C. He did his residency at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, New York, and had an MA in surgery from the University of Minnesota. He served in the U.S. Army Medical Corps in Japan and Korea, was a surgeon at Medical Surgical Clinic in Tyler, and the chief of surgery at both East Texas Medical Center and Mother Frances Hospital. And he was a diplomat of the American Board of Surgery, fellow of the American College of Surgeons, a distinguished fellow of the Texas Surgical Society in 1996. He was a director of the East Texas Hospital Foundation and a member of the executive committee of the board of directors of Mother Frances Hospital. And he also was a member of the board of governors of the UT Health Science Center in Tyler. And Dr. Turner was president of Tyler YMCA, the Smith County Medical Society, the Rotary Club, president of the Order of the Rose, a life member of the Salvation Army Board, member and deacon at First Baptist Church Tyler. He was also an Eagle Scout and received the W.C. Windsor Award in 1962. He passed away in November of 2005 and is buried in the Rose Hill Cemetery in Tyler. The 53rd president of the club was Robert Edward Leighton Jr., better known to all of the longtime Rotarians as Bob Leighton. He was married to Margaret Leighton, who always went by Midge. Bob was a graduate of Corsicana High School, the U.S. Naval Air Technical Training Center in Norman, Oklahoma. He received a Bachelor of Science degree in Aeronautical Engineering from Texas A&M and served in the U.S. Navy during World War II. Longtime Tylerites will remember him as the founder of the Leighton Engineering Company in Tyler, and during the administrations of President Reagan and George Herbert Walker Bush, Bob was the regional administrator for the Environmental Protection Agency for both of those terms. He was an environmental consultant, served as a member of the Tyler City Council in 74 and 75, and was mayor of Tyler in 1976. He was a life member of the National Society of Professional Engineers. He also was a member and chairman of the National Law Enforcement Committee, the advisory board of Texas A&M, the advisory committee, the Tyler Junior College for Technical Training. He was a member of the Development Council for the Texas A&M School of Medicine, a member of Green Acres Baptist Church, and also, for you longtime Rotarians, Bob and Mitch were members of the John Childs Sunday School class at Green Acres. Bob was also a trombone player in the Tyler Big Band, served as vice president of the Tyler Chamber. He was our district governor for District 5830 for Rotary from 1975 to 76, member of the board of directors of the East Texas Hospital Foundation, member of the board of directors of our Mother Frances Hospital, chairman of the Airport Advisory Committee for the city of Tyler. He was a member of St. John's Masonic Lodge. He was both a York Rite and Scottish Rite and a 32nd degree Mason, charter member of the Sharon Shrine Temple in Tyler, and a life member of the Commemorative Air Force, and also a life member of Disabled American Veterans. He passed away in June of 2011, is buried in the Veterans section of Tyler Memorial Park. Then the 54th president was Harry Clayton Leonard, who married Florence Spitzberg Leonard. He was a graduate of Ripon College in Ripon, Wisconsin. He received in the U.S. Army Air Corps. He received the Purple Heart in the European Theater. He was an agent with New York Life Insurance and a chartered life underwriter. lifetime member of the New York Life Council, National Council, member of Willowbrook Country Club at 33rd Degree Basin. Not only was he president of Rotary Club of Tyler, he was a board member of the Tyler YMCA and the Texas Rose Festival, a Paul Ferris fellow. Harry passed away in May of 1996 and is buried in the Cathedral of the Pines Cemetery in Tyler. President number 55 is William Robert Bob Dole, married to Helen Reed Dole. He was a graduate of Lamar College in Beaumont, Texas, had a certificate in banking and accounting from the University of Texas. He was the manager of data processing sales in New Orleans before moving to Tyler. Then in Tyler, he was the regional manager for the National Cash Register Company. He, in addition to being president of Rotary Club of Tyler, he was a member of the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception, member of the Knights of Columbus, served on the United Way Board, was a Paul Harris fellow, and passed away in December of 1996, buried in the Cathedral of the Pines Cemetery here in Tyler. President number 55, Robert Eugene Bob Fix. He married Ida Faye Fix, was a graduate of the Dallas Public Schools, had a Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering from Texas A&M, Master's of Science in Chemical Engineering from A&M. He was a partner in Wise & Baker Fix and Associates. They were consulting engineers. Many of you longtime Tylerites will remember them as owning and operating the Southern Utilities Water Company here in Smith County. He was a member of the Texas Society of Professional Engineers, the Secretary-Treasurer for Southern Utilities. He was also a director of the Spring Hill Water Company, the White Oak Water Company, and a consultant with the Texas Water Quality Board in Austin. He was a member of First Christian Church in Tyler, a member of the Masonic Order and the Shrine, Knights Templar, and was listed in Who's Who in America. Passed away in June of 1993, is buried in Tyler Memorial Park. President number 57, many of you longtime Tylerites will remember Floyd Solomon Wagstaff, better known as Coach Wag. He was married to Flora Wagstaff. Coach Wagstaff graduated from Stephen F. Austin State University, did graduate work at North Texas State University. He started out his coaching career at the Paxton School, then coached at Kilgore Junior High School, and then became the basketball coach and assistant football coach at Tyler High School. When TJC moved out to this new campus on 5th Street in 1946, Coach Wag was the first football coach, basketball coach for Tyler Junior College, and was there nearly 30 years from 1946 to 1975. Then he became the athletic director at TJC and advisor to the president. One funny true story about Coach Wag, I can tell you that he was such a favorite of the students and the faculty and the board of trustees. He retired as the basketball coach and the board of trustees, and TJC bought him a new pickup. A couple of years later, Coach Wag retired as the head football coach and the board of trustees bought him another new pickup. 2 or 3 years later, Coach Wag retired as the athletic director and the board of trustees bought him another new pickup. He was a member of the First Presbyterian Church, a member of the Texas Sports Hall of Fame in Waco, a member of the National Junior College Athletic Association Hall of Fame in Hutchinson, Kansas. He's a member of the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. He was named the Texas Junior College Coach of the Year 3 times, 1949, 1953, 1960. And when they formed the Circle of Honor for athletes at TJC, he was the first person inducted into the TJC Circle of Honor. He won 2 National Junior College Athletic Association championships in 1949 and 1951, and he led TJC to the National NCAA tournament 13 times. He had a coaching record in basketball of 743 wins against 224 losses. And as the head coach at TJ football, his record was 130 wins against 36 losses. He won the 1948 Junior Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, and received the T.B. Butler Award in 1972. He passed away in February 2000 and is buried in the Cathedral of the Pines Cemetery. President number 58 is Dr. William Marsh Bill Schamberger, who was married to Catherine Nutt Schamberger. I want to take a minute and recognize their son, Reverend Jim Schamberger, over here, who came back to Tyler. Jim was the pastor of First Baptist Church Victoria 32 years, and then when he retired a couple of years ago, he and his wife Cheryl moved back to Tyler to look after Cheryl's mother, who was still living at that time. We're delighted to have Jim as a member of the club. Dr. Schamberger graduated from Baylor University and received his doctorate in divinity from Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary in Fort Worth. He was a U.S. Army chaplain in India in 1945 to 47, pastored a number of churches, including First Baptist Rogers, Arkansas, and First Baptist Corsicana, Texas, before coming to Tyler in 1956 to pastor the First Baptist Church of Tyler. Dr. Schamberger was president of the Tyler Ministerial Alliance, a trustee of Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary, trustee at Baylor University, trustee at East Texas Baptist University, and an active member of the Baptist General Convention of Texas, and chaired the executive board of the state convention. Also was chairman of the State Missions Commission for Texas Baptist. In 1975, he was appointed to the Texas Youth Council, Youth Commission, by Governor Duff Briscoe, reappointed in 1982. And then later, after he retired from First Baptist, served as director of the Youth Commission for the state of Texas. Dr. Schamberger was a member of the East Texas Hospital Foundation Board, the Caldwell Schools Board, the Salvation Army Board, the board of the Tyler Chamber, and the Smith County American Red Cross. He was, of course, Rotary Club president and a member of the Masonic Order. And in 1970s, he received Boss of the Year from the Rose chapter of the American Business Women's Association. In 1977, he received the T.B. Butler Award and the People Division Award in 1981. The Azleway Boys Ranch out east of Tyler dedicated the Schamberger Middle School in his honor. Dr. Schamberger passed away in 1990, is buried in the Rose Hill Cemetery here in Tyler. The 59th president, James Robert Bob Dobbs, who was a longtime attorney in Tyler, married to Sally Ellis Dobbs. He received his BBA from SMU, his LLB from Southern Methodist University Law School. He was a partner in Pye, Dobbs, and Berry, PC from 1962 to 2002. They were specialists in estate planning and probate law. And he was a member of the Smith County and the Texas State Bar, the American Bar Association, the American College of Trust and Estate Council. He was an accredited estate planner and president of the East Texas Estate Planning Council, a member for 8 years of the Tyler ISD Board of Trustees, and president of the board for 4 years. He served as president of the Mother Frances Hospital Foundation, director of the Heritage National Bank. Bob was president of the Texas Rose Festival Association, the Rotary Club, president of Tyler YMCA, president of the Order of the Rose, chairman of the Salvation Army Board. He was a member of the Tyler Chamber and one of the group that established the East Texas Communities Foundation. He served as a member of the President's Associates at UT Tyler, was an elder at First Presbyterian Church and chairman of the Board of Deacons there. He received the W.C. Windsor Award in 1967, passed away in October 2002, is buried in the Rose Hill Cemetery in Tyler. The Rotary President number 60, Baker Lucas Jr., was married to Betty Calvert Lucas. He was a captain in the U.S. Army in World War II, 1941 to 46, was the director of Republic Bank in Tyler, the owner of Baker Lucas Realty. He was a member of the Tyler City Council, served as mayor of Tyler in the 1970s. He was president, lifetime member of the Board of Realtors in Tyler. He was president, lifetime member of Tyler JC's, Rotary Club president, governor-elect of Rotary International for District 5830. And he and another member of the club were tragically killed in an automobile accident coming back from a district meeting in Henderson. He was a member of the Order of the Rose and director of the Rose Festival Associations, vice president of the YMCA, vice president of the Tyler Chamber, longtime member of Marvin United Methodist Church. He was a Knight Templar, member of the Sharon Shrine, member of the East Texas Symphony Orchestra Board, a Paul Harris Fellow of Rotary International, and in 1969 was honored as Realtor of the Year. He passed away in June 1985, killed in a car crash with Van Neal, who's also a past president of the club, buried in the Rose Hill Cemetery in Tyler. President number 61 is John T. Horton, married to June Dolores Gerlach Horton. He was a graduate of East Texas Baptist College. He was a longtime associate of Intex, the predecessor to Centerpoint, as a sales manager, manager of the Mineola office, the district manager for the East Texas area. In addition to being president of Rotary Club of Tyler, he was an active member of the Tyler Area Chamber, serving on their nominating committee for the chamber. That will bring us to president number 62, Kenneth Albert Tyler, married to Margaret Peggy Mann Tyler. He had a business degree from the University of Iowa, was chairman of the board of Tyler Beverages and president of the Texas Soft Drink Association. They were longtime members of Marvin United Methodist Church, where he was in the choir, served on the finance committee, was chairman of the board of trustees of Marvin. In addition to being president of the Rotary Club, he was president of the Tyler JC's and a member of the Lions Club and a Paul Harris Fellow. He passed away in December 1996, is buried in Cathedral of the Pines Cemetery in Tyler. President number 63 is Clinton Ewell Bearden, married to Marcia Lyons Bearden. He was educated at Sulphur Springs High School, graduated from East Texas State College. He was a partner in the Garden Valley Resort, partner in the Woodbridge Development Company in Tyler, partner in Billard and Birch Properties, partner in Tyler Hotel Properties. That was the old Carlton Hotel downtown. The owner, Clinton Beard Company. He was president of the Tyler Home Builders Association, served on the board of directors of the Texas Association of Builders. He was a member of the National Association of Real Estate Boards, member of First Christian Church, member of the board of directors of United Way and the American Heart Association, member of the Exchange Club and the Tyler Area Chamber, member of the board of directors of the Texas Rose Festival Association. Clinton received Builder of the Year in 1975, passed away in March 2001, is buried in the Rose Hill Cemetery in Tyler. Then president number 64, Van Edward Neal, married to Martha Garrett Neal. He had a degree in aeronautical engineering from the University of Texas at Austin. He was a colonel in the United States Air Force. He was the coordinator for electronics and audio visuals for Tyler ISD, and later was the executive director of Tyler Smith County United Way. Also, at one time, was the project manager for Gulf States United Telephone. He was a member of the Sharon Shrine Temple, three-time master of the District Council, Senior warden of the commandery, a member of the Oriental Shrine Band. He also was a member of the chairman of the Tyler Safety Commission. He was a member of Marvin United Methodist Church and the YMCA 500 Mile Swim Club. He had 30 different decorations in the Air Force, passed away in 1985 in that same accident with Baker Lucas, and is buried in the Cathedral of the Pines Cemetery in Tyler. And then president number 85, we're delighted to have John Minton with us here today. If we get through in time, I wanted to tell you a story about the Birmingham Rotary International Convention. He's married to Martha Miners Minton and is a graduate of Baylor University, Baylor Law School, has the JD degree from Baylor University. When he began his career, he was Assistant Attorney General of Texas to John Ben Shepherd and Will Wilson. He's been in private practice with the Potter Minton Law Firm since 1958. John's a member of the American College of Trial Attorneys. He was a longtime trustee and regent at Baylor University, president of the Smith County Bar Association, and trustee of the Baptist Foundation of Texas. He is a longtime member and deacon at First Baptist, has served on the East Texas Symphony Orchestra Board, the Foundation Board at Tyler Junior College, the board of the Bethesda Clinic, was one of the organizers of the East Texas Community Foundation, president of the Baylor Development Council. He was the Baylor University Lawyer of the Year in 1981 and was an honoree for junior achievement in Smith County. He argued his first appellate case in the Texas Supreme Court at the age of 23 and won the case. And he and Martha have been residents of the Rose City here in Tyler for the last 64 years. And then president number 66 is Dean Ray Breedlove. Many of you have known his landscaping company here in Tyler back through the years. He was married to Mary Catherine Woolsey Breedlove, and then when she passed away, Pat Noga Breedlove. He was a 1943 graduate, Tyler High School, had a Bachelor of degree in landscape architecture from Texas A&M, served in the U.S. Navy and was a partner and owner in Breedlove Landscaping and Architecture. And in addition to serving as president of the Rotary Club, he had 38 years of perfect attendance in our club. He passed away in March 2010, is buried in the Rose Hill Cemetery in Tyler. Number 57 is Billy Clarence Hall, married to Sue Hall, legendary educator here in Tyler. He graduated from Tyler High School in 1956, received a Bachelor of Science from Baylor University and an MS in Educational Administration from Stephen F. Austin State University, had postgraduate work at Ohio University and University of Texas at Austin. He began as a teacher and a coach at Robert E. Lee High School, later was the principal and the athletic director for Tyler ISD. After he retired, he was the interim director for court-appointed special advocates in Tyler. He had a life membership in the PTA Association and a life member in the National Parent-Teacher Association. He was a member of the Baylor Chamber of Commerce while a student at Baylor, a member of Deacon at First Baptist Tyler, co-director of the Young Adult Sunday School class. He was a member of the Royal Fifth Family Kids Camp. In addition to being president of the Rotary Club, he served on the Crime Stoppers Board and as a member of the Teachers Cooperative Credit Union and Hazel Way Boys Ranch. He was a Paul Harris Fellow, and in 2013, he was inducted into the TISD Athletic Hall of Fame. He passed away in June 2020, buried in the Pleasant Grove Cemetery in Hopkins County in the family cemetery up there. That brings us down to president number 68, John Oakley Doogie Childs, Many of you know his wife, Thelma Ruth Stevens Childs. He had a degree in mechanical engineering from Texas A&M, where he was a member of the Corps of Cadets, company commander of the Fish Infantry Group. He was the senior yell leader at A&M, and I believe that being a senior yell leader never left him during his entire life.
You are right.
He was a charter member of the Memorial Student Center Student Committee, had a master's degree in personnel administration from George Washington University. He was a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army, progressed all the way to lieutenant colonel, had 2 tours of duty in Vietnam, served in the military from 1953 to 1974. He was a professor of military science at West Texas State University in Canyon, a marketing officer at the First National Bank in Canyon, then senior vice president for marketing at the Heritage National Bank in Tyler, later an instructor in the School of Business at UT Tyler, and director of continuing education for UT Tyler, and the business officer for Jacksonville College. While he was teaching in Canyon, he was president of the Canyon Chamber of Commerce. He also was our district governor for 5830, well known as 1 o'clock John for being out by 1 p.m. One of his highest achievements in Rotary, he was the operating chair for Lone Star President-elect Training Seminar. That was about 2007. He was past president of the Smith County chapter of the American Cancer Society, member of the board of directors of Goodwill Industries and Tyler Smith County A&M Club. He also served on the board of directors for TISD as a trustee, member of the board of trustees at East Texas Baptist University, and a member of the board of trustees at San Marcos Baptist Academy. He was a member in deacon at Green Acres Baptist Church. While in the service, he received both the Bronze Star for Valor and the Distinguished Flying Cross. Passed away in August of 2020, buried in the Rose Hill Cemetery in Tyler. And then President number 69, we're so delighted to have Carol Sinclair with us today, married to Barbara Sinclair. He is a graduate of Oakwood ISD and says that his high school graduating class had 13 members. He has his BA degree in architecture from Texas A&M and an MA degree from the University of Texas at Tyler, served in the U.S. Army Reserve for 6 years. He's a registered architect emeritus in both Texas and Louisiana. He's been a founder and partner in Sinclair and Wright Architects, founder of the Early Sundown Studio. He's published 3 books one book on architectural photography, another one, Tree of Justice, ? And the third book, The Weekly Crown. He's a member of the American Institute of Architects, past president of the American Institute of Architects of Northeast Texas, past director and secretary of the Texas Association of Architects. He's been a member of the organizing committee of Leadership Tyler, vice president of the Tyler Area Chairman, Commerce Development Council, member of the board of the chamber from 2000 to 2003. Carol served on the City of Tyler Board of Adjustment and Appeals and the Board of Appeals and Adjustments, member of the City of Tyler Historic Landmark Commission, past director of Heart of Tyler Main Street, member of Green Acres Baptist Church Buildings and Ground Committee, and a member of the Trees Committee for the City of Tyler. We're so glad to have you here today. President number 70 is Gerald Wayne Freed, and those of you that are longtime members of the club will remember his wife was Margie Payne, so she could refer to herself as Margie Payne Freed. He had a degree in business administration from West Texas State University in Canyon, served as a first lieutenant in the infantry division at Fort Irwin, California, He started out as vice president for Panhandle Savings and Loan in Amarillo, then became president of Bowie Savings and Loan in Bowie, Texas. He was the youngest person named president of a savings and loans institution in Texas at that time. Later, he was president of New Braunfels Savings and Loan, then finished his career as president of First Federal Savings and Loan in Tyler. He was a director of the Federal Home Loan Bank of Dallas, chairman of the Texas Savings and Community Bankers Association. He was a member and past president of 3 different Rotary clubs in Bowie, New Braunfels, and Tyler. He served on the Lanes Chapel Food Pantry, Meals on Wheels, member of the board at Willowbrook Country Club, member of the board of directors at Tyler Community Homes. He was a member of the City of Tyler Health Development Board, the Better Business Bureau, active in the Chamber of Commerce, served on the board of elders at First Christian Church. And before he passed, Gerald had 41 years of perfect attendance in Rotary. He was a double Paul Harris Fellow, passed away in August of 1919. Our 2019, yes.
He looks remarkably good in the picture.
Then president for 71, our 71st president, Fred William Bill Martin, married to Mary Jo Jody Martin, educated at Central High School in Omaha, Nebraska, had a BA degree in business administration from the University of Nebraska, had a career with Sears and Roebuck in North Platte, Nebraska, Springfield, Missouri, Dallas, Texas, and then finished up as manager of the Sears and Roebuck in Tyler for many years. He was chairman of the Better Business Bureau, board member of the American Red Cross, one of the organizers of Tyler Economic Development Council, and board member of Tyler City Sister Cities, member of board of directors of the Texas Rose Festival Association, the Food Bank, deacon and elder at First Presbyterian Church, and he's another one of our living past presidents. Wish he could have been with us today. And then President 72, Jack Davidson, you all remember, is a longtime school superintendent here. He was married to Anna Stanfield Davidson, graduate of Franklin College, and a PhD in educational administration from Indiana University, served in the U.S. War II. He started out as a football coach and history teacher, then was principal and superintendent in Indiana, school superintendent Oak Ridge, Tennessee, school superintendent of Bradenton, Florida, school superintendent in Austin, Texas, and finished his career as superintendent here in Tyler. While in Austin, he was the founder of Austin Community College, which has grown to be a big institution. He was the organizer and founder of the TISD Foundation, which is important for our school district. He and his wife were members of Marvin United Methodist Church, where he served on the administration board at Marvin, was president of the Salvation Army. He received the award twice as the top 100 executive educators in North America, listed in Who's Who in America, passed away November of 2014. And then our 73rd president, Billy Earl Hibbs Sr., we're so delighted to have Billy's family here with us today. He married Jeannie Stroud Hibbs. He was a graduate of Quitman High School, the owner of Heartland Security Insurance Group in Tyler, and owner of the Hibbs Hallmark and Company. He was also the owner of Claims Administrative Services, Premium and Convenience Services, owner of the Patriot National Underwriters, and owner of the Old Glory Insurance Company. Billy was a founding member of the Better Business Bureau of Central East Texas, served as president of the East Texas Symphony Association, president of the Tyler Civic Theater. The Rotary Club, was a member of the Centurions of Tyler. He was a founding member of the Henry Bell Masonic Lodge, board member for Leadership Tyler and the TISD Foundation, a member of the Chamber and the Order of the Rose. He was a member, trustee, and usher at Marvin United Methodist Church, and was a member of the Pairs and Partners Sunday School class at Marvin, was the founder of the Hicks Family Foundation. He was recognized by the 1981 Texas legislature for his performance in handling the claims from the John Tyler High School massive fire loss out there, received statewide recognition. He was a Paul Harris Fellow and an inductee of honoree for junior achievement. Member of Beta Gamma Sigma, received the 2005 Torch Award from the Better Business Bureau. And those of you that are longtime members of our club will recall that our Tyler Rotary Foundation, whenever a person contributes $1,000 or more, they become a Billy Hibb Senior Fellow of our foundation, which is a significant honor. He passed away in November 2005, is buried in the Rose Hill Cemetery here in Tyler. The 74th president was Charles Ray Hollingbrook, married to Loretta Heath Hollingbrook. He served in the U.S. Army during the Korean War, was a song leader, minister of music at First United Methodist Church in Jacksonville, First United Methodist Nacogdoches and Beaumont, St. Paul's United Methodist Church in Houston, and then finished his career at Marvin Methodist Church in Tyler. He was a founding member of the board of PAT, member of the board of directors, Meals on Wheels, American Red Cross. Many of you will recall Charles leading our music for the Rotary Club meetings. He passed away in August 2011, is buried in the Rose Lawn Memorial Garden in Mineola, Texas. And then the last and certainly one of our great significant presidents, 65th.
Sorry, we gotta go.
Many of you will recall Julie Nichols, his wonderful wife, such a great person. Dr. Nichols received his bachelor's degree from UT Austin, a DDS degree from University of Tennessee. He served in the U.S. Air Force from 1970 to 71 and has had a dental practice in Tyler since that time. He's a fellow of the Academy of General Dentistry, the International College of Dentists, the founder and president of Tejas Missions, longtime member of Marvin Methodist Church and longtime teacher of the friendly class at Marvin. He was recognized as the Texas Dentist of the Year 4 times by the Academy of General Dentistry and received the T.B. Butler Award as Tyler's Outstanding Citizen in 2003. And one of his most significant achievements when he was president of our club in 1995 was the origination of the Tyler Rotary Foundation began under his presidency. Let's give him a warm welcome.
Thank you, DM. Excellent presentation. Here's this for you, by the way. DM, don't run off. A certificate from the Literacy Council. I would like to ask all of the former presidents of this club, whether you're recognized up there or not, to stand and be recognized right now. Big hand for these fine people that serve. Okay. All right, and now it's time for the Ace of Diamonds Award. JB, how much do we have in there this week?
$1,920, 48 cards left.
Okay.
Gee.
Get one of our former presidents to draw the name this week, please.
I can walk around the room for a while.
Yes, you could.
You could.
But you're not.
No, I'm gonna stop here. $326.
326.
And I don't have it, I know that.
Who has that? Okay, go draw a card. Let's see if you can do it. Not even close. It's like 6 clubs. Okay, let's go ahead and stand for the 4-way test of the things that we think, say, or do as Rotarians. First.
Is it the truth?
Second.
Is it fair to all concerned?
Third.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
And we are dismissed.